Hey y'all, welcome back to Proficiency in Play. My name's Pip, your DM. If you have not listened to episode 1 of the podcast yet, please go do that before watching this video, as it will give you the background information you need to really understand what we're digging into. If you have watched it, you're in the right place. Today's video is going to be the follow-along episode for episode 1. I'm going to make a playlist where each follow-along episode is placed in that playlist, so you will alternate listening to an episode, watching a video, listening to an episode, watching a video. I'm also going to be making videos about the world as a whole and mechanics and rule changes and the players and character spotlights, all those things, and they're going to be on the channel, but not in the follow-along playlist because they don't necessarily pertain to the particular episode you just listened to. They're just kind of good background information for the whole story. All right, with that out of the way, today's episode is about Revel. Now, Revel is a steampunked medieval castle town that has, in the last several years, been thrown right into late 1800s, early 1900s industrial revolution times. Way ahead of their time, way ahead of the world. And so it puts their culture in this interesting position of trying to span the gap between living naturally like they've been used to, like you would in medieval times, and utilizing this new tech that specifically the Baron has been creating. So Revel's in a little bit of a difficult time right now. They still have some kind of medieval practices ruled by a monarchy. They have what's considered a caste system, really, a very class-heavy system where different classes are kind of ranked on a hierarchy among the system, as far as rights and just how much respect and reputation they have. Um, but on the flip side of that, they have electricity, just a lot of new tech that improves life, that makes it more modern, like we would understand. But the style of government and the people utilizing the tech still think like a medieval castle town would think and still operate that way. So it's a really interesting kind of combination of medieval castle town that has gained too much technology too quickly and is trying to figure out how it fits in to the life that they've made. Revel is a pretty much circular city of about 10,000 population. It has grown dramatically over the last several years due to the short lifespans of the Grimmel, as well as just large litters. Because they're cat folks, they don't have babies one at a time, they have four or five at a time typically. So population is getting really, really big. But because of the new tech, Revel is being able to grow to support that. The walls on the outside of Revel right now are about 35 to 40 feet high, and there's four main gates into Revel. The eastern gate is the main gate that connects Revel to the outside world of Eos. The northern gates and southern gates are used primarily for farmers that live outside of Revel to get their goods inside of Revel. And the western gate isn't so much a gate, as it is a marketplace that just kind of leads into the more common district of Revel, because the western side of Revel is entirely pushed up against the water. They don't really need a gate on that side. Revel is kind of made up of a few different things, and it's very quartered off. It's very sectioned off, where the nobles live in the northwest quadrant by the keep, and the closer you live to the king, the wealthier you are, the more status you have. And this has been the way Revel has lived for its history. The king is becoming less and less important as this new tech comes out, and he feels that and he doesn't want to be less important. So the nobles have become very, very lazy. There's no war for Revel, there's no real difficulties going on in Revel, so they just kind of lounge around and they shop and they go to parties together, and that's leading the common folk to be quite unhappy with their leadership and pushing towards a new style of government. But the nobles are kind of holding that down for now. The Baron has changed Revel dramatically over the last 10 years, taking it from this medieval castle town and really just with advances in tech He is a big time tech entrepreneur and has his hands in all sorts of pies in Revel and just is kind of challenging the king, not outright challenging the king, but many people think that they don't need a king anymore because the Baron has all this great tech and all these good ideas. There's no real need for the general class system that Revel has been utilizing anymore. But of course, the nobles who are at the top of that class system feel pretty differently. For more information on this class system and the peoples inside of Revel, please go check out my other video on this channel about the Grimmel, where we dig into the different classes of Grimmel, the different subspecies inside, and their specialties and how they live together and what kinds of things each one are good at. Because of this new tech that the Baron is really pushing, that's making everyone's lives easier, and so they have to spend less and less time worrying about survival, entertainment has become a really big thing for the people of Revel. And no entertainment is quite as exciting as the gladiatorial matches in the arena. The arena represents the more primal aspects of these Grimmel, these catfolk, where they use their claws and teeth mixed with weapons that we'd be used to seeing human gladiators use to show off how tough they are, and other people come and watch. Big time gladiators in the arena can be likened to professional athletes in our culture, where some Grimmel who don't fit well into the workforce or are very, very physically strong or quick will sign up to be gladiators in the arena, and they'll have regular matches that people will come and pay money to watch. And the higher you rank up in these gladiatorial matches, the more and more celebrity status you have. Like Warren, who's the champion of the arena right now, is the number one celebrity of Revel, and that gives him a lot of wealth and a lot of power among the people. So the arena has become a very, very dominating force for Revel. Because there's no war, it helps the gladiators stay strong. It helps the people really scratch that itch for combat and violence that they have. With that being said, please like this video and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss any of these follow along episode videos that go with the podcast episode. And this coming Wednesday, episode 2 of the podcast will be live. So please go check that out. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next.